I'd like to thank John Miller, who provided pro bono legal work to set up the donation account, Andy DeRose Brecker, who actually started the account at Southcrest Bank, Karen and Steve Hopkins, who took the time to drive a car all the way from Peachtree City up to Walter Reed so that my parents could use it while they were at the hospital visiting me. Richard and Martha Seeger, who donated all the Lieutenant Dan hats that really embarrassed me, but many of y'all seem to love. And the family and friends who picked up donation boxes all over town. Everyone that wrote letters, emails, called, and visited was on a lot of drugs, and I may not remember exactly what your card said or when you came to visit, but your words meant a lot to me, and they still do to this day. And finally, a special thanks goes out to my brother Rob and his fiancée Sabrina. They just so happen to live in D.C., which means that they had the dubious honor of serving as the de facto base camp for the Berschinski family after I got blown up. The morphine made things pretty hazy, but Mom and Dad, I remember how nerve-wracked and crazy y'all were, and Rob and Sabrina put up with you like champs, so they really deserve some thanks. I know I've left out a ton of people, and for that I apologize. The most amazing aspect of this community support is that the support hasn't just come from a few dedicated individuals, but it's come from literally hundreds of people that I don't know and some that I do know. I haven't even mentioned the thousands, literally thousands. I just got some at home in my parents' mailbox just 2 days ago, so they're still coming, of letters that I've gotten from people all over this country. Complete strangers, church groups, and entire elementary schools at a time have written to me and have let me know that I am greatly appreciated and cared for. That's huge. It's really been amazing. Now, I appreciate all of that, and with my utmost sincerity, I say thank you. Thank you so very much. But this isn't just about me, and it's not just about me having a chance to say thanks. My family and friends who know me best will tell you that I never really enjoy being the center of attention, and it's true. I really don't. So this moment, this whole weekend is a bit much for me to handle, but this weekend isn't just about me. It's actually about the men and women that I have reluctantly come to symbolize. It's about those that have gone before, those that are there right now at this very moment, and those that will go when, despite our best intentions and utmost desire, our country calls on them for more service and sacrifice. This weekend is all about soldiers and servicemen and women. This weekend is about my soldiers, the platoon that I commanded and trained at Fort Lewis. It's about the dozen or so soldiers who in the late fall of 2008 decided to re-enlist despite the fact that our battalion was headed for an imminent deployment, despite the fact that several had already been wounded in previous tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, despite the fact that many of those men had beautiful young wives and children that they were then going to leave behind. And despite the fact that I, a brand new platoon leader with absolutely no combat experience, would be leading them in Afghanistan. These men had a chance to walk away before we left for combat, but I watched each and every one of them raise their hand and promise to continue the fight for this nation. This weekend is about my forward observer, Jonathan Yanni. 20-year-old Jonathan Yanni of Litchfield, Minnesota. As my forward observer, I trusted Yanni to talk to the helicopters that made gun runs danger close to my platoon when we were in contact with the enemy. I trusted Yanni to talk to the artillery that shot rounds over our heads and into the enemy's positions. And in return, Yanni trusted me to make the decisions that would control his life in a combat zone. And so on August 18th, 2009, 7 or 8 hours before I stepped on the explosive that took my legs, 3rd Platoon of my battalion's Alpha Company was ambushed, about 1,000 meters away from my platoon's position. Yanni trusted me to lead our platoon to 3rd's position so that we could reinforce them in their fight. I took Yanni's and the rest of my platoon's trust, and I led my men away from town and into a pomegranate orchard. I sent a squad across a small footbridge, waited for them to get into position, and then I moved across the bridge with my radio man walking right next to me, and Yanni walking, as every good infantryman knows to do, 3 to 5 meters behind me, close enough to get to me should I need him to call in support, but far enough away to not take out another soldier should an explosion occur under or near Yanni. And that's where Yanni was, 3 to 5 meters behind me when he stepped on the trigger of an improvised explosive device. Within 1/100th of a second, the front half of my platoon was thrown face down into the Afghan dirt, and Yanni and his trust were taken away forever. This weekend is about Yanni. It's about Sergeant First Class McCluskey from Fayetteville. It's about Lieutenant Robert Collins of Tyrone. This weekend is about everyone that's ever been willing to put personal concern aside for the sake of our nation and our fellow brothers in arms. So again, I thank my family, friends, and community for everything that you've done for me and the others that are much more deserving than I. If I can ask one more favor of this community, I ask that the focus this weekend, from this very moment on, not be on me, but rather on all of my brothers and sisters that have made a sacrifice for our nation. Duty, honor, country. Thank you.